Welcome to Women with Purpose. Imagine a world where every woman was living with purpose, at full strength and power. No fear of failure or regrets, impacting the lives of others wherever they are. When they're with their family and friends, in their community, locally, regionally, nationally, and in the world. This program is just a piece of a much bigger puzzle, but is our contribution to this vision. As women, we are not just meant to survive, but to thrive and to help other women do the same. This program is to inspire and encourage with strong examples of women who have taken on the challenge of living with purpose and have succeeded. Join us if you dare. Xcel, the Female Center of Excellence and Leadership, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting the advancement of women and girls of all backgrounds through mentoring, education, networking, scholarship, and community service. I had the pleasure of meeting with Trisha Brunton, president and one of the founders of Xcel. In this interview, you will learn resilience and perseverance is the key to living with purpose. To look at your needs, find a solution, and then to look outward and serve your community with what you have learned and discovered. Hello and welcome to Women with Purpose. Our goal is to empower women, to encourage them, and to give them the information they need to live with purpose. We want to get rid of that fear of success or failure, and how we do that is by highlighting extraordinary women, everyday women that are doing extraordinary things. We're really excited to be here today, and today our first guest is Trisha Brunton. Trisha, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Trisha is from Xcel, the Female Center of Excellence and Leadership. It's a wonderful nonprofit organization right here in Connecticut, and she does amazing things with that. And we're going to go ahead and dive right in. Trisha, how did Xcel get started?
That's such a while ago now. I actually started Xcel when I was a student at Northeastern University. And at the time I was an independent student, really just trying to figure things out. How am I going to pay for school? How am I going to pay for rent, books, all of those things. Mm-hmm. And just wanting to make sure that I was prepared and ready for the real world.
Yep.
When I was at Northeastern, I actually joined about 6 or 7 different student groups, was working pretty much full time, going to school, and my grades were suffering. And I was just trying to figure out, how do I still meet those needs to prepare for the real world and still make it through undergrad.
Yep.
So one day I was just very tired, and I took a step back and thought about what was it that I needed, and what was I looking for from all of these different student groups without having to spread myself so thin and have my grades suffering at that time. And I thought about 5 things, and those things included mentoring, education, scholarship, leadership, and community. Nice. And I took those 5 things together and started talking to other women on campus, other women that I was networking with, and shared what it is that I wanted to do. And they were all very interested in those very things. And so with that, decided to form a student group on campus. Nice. Called the Female Center of Excellence and Leadership, also known as Xcel. And many people don't know that the X stands for the female chromosome.
Oh, nice.
So it's X, not F. I thought it through. So yeah, that's how Xcel got started.
That's awesome. Yeah. I didn't realize the X stand for that. I'm glad you made that clear. What are some of the services that you offer for young women and for?
We have 2 core programs. And those programs include Link Her, which is a mentoring program or a career-focused mentoring program where we connect female students with professionals, male and female professionals. Those professionals meet with our students and provide just exposure to the different careers that may be out there. Wow. Some of our students, really the careers that they know of are the careers that are just within their family and careers that they may see on television.
Right.
So not much exposure to all of the wonderful careers that are out there, or even the ways to get into those careers. So the Linker program works towards connecting female students with professionals through different ways, so they interact with them in different ways. One of those ways is to meet with the professional for lunch or coffee, just to ask a few questions about the career or the industry. We also offer opportunities for companies to offer job shadow sessions where they can sit with the professional for a day or half a day to just see what their day-to-day life is like in that career field. We also work towards getting company tours for students so they can go into a company, kind of understand what the product is, what the customer base is, what are the different careers in that organization, because some companies are very different. So you have like law firms, it's in law area, you have companies like UTC, which is core focus is engineering, but how is the company run and how do they attract business? So doing the company tour for that. And then we also have a component where professionals can assist the student to work towards their service learning project, which supports the community. And of course, we always advocate for getting mentors that work with the student for about 6 months and work on one or more goals. We also have another program called My Retreat, and that program serves underserved young women between 17 and 21. And we offer this program about every other year. It's free, and we take a group of young women away. The last few years we've gone to Vermont, and we do workshops over the course of the weekend with them. After the weekend, we work with them on action plans. They're also able to apply for a $1,000 grant through our organization, and that grant can be used towards school, if they want to start a business or if they want to do something in the community.
Wow.
And we've offered two previously, $2,000 grants.
Now, how did you get from doing this in college? Like, how did you get from there to there? Like, what was the process?
We, as an organization, we've gone through many iterations, if you will. We, as a student group, we focused very much on the education. We were the first organization to host a women's conference on the Northeastern campus. Upon graduation, many of us just wanted to, who were a part of Xcel on campus, wanted to expand the offerings outside. We thought there's other schools, there's other young women outside of Northeastern that could benefit from what we were trying to offer. So that's when we incorporated as a nonprofit. Over the years, we focused in on doing networking events, lots of networking events focused on educating the young professional, just, things that you don't learn in school, right? Those life skills, if you will, and understanding different industries, networking, your brand, interviewing skills, those things like that.
The politics of the office.
Ooh, politics, yes, that's a good one. Yes. And over the years, we just realized that there were a lot of organizations that were doing that. And so we felt somewhat duplicative in offering the conferences and the networking events when many other organizations were doing it. So instead, we wanted to highlight those organizations instead and focus more on programming. And that's why now we're just focusing on those core programming and really building out our services so that we can support more young women.
What are some of the biggest obstacles that you've seen, like coming from college to, starting the nonprofit to, what are some of the biggest obstacles that you've seen that maybe you can give some tips on how to prevent those? Like if you're starting a nonprofit, what are some things that happened during that time?
I think at the end of the day, you want to offer programs or services that are unique. You don't want to duplicate something. So I think look around your community, look around and try to understand what needs are currently being addressed, and really either support those needs, but don't duplicate them because they require resources, and you don't want to spend all of those resources on just getting it up and running.
Right.
You want to really have those resources go into making an impact and a change.
Right.
So I would say assess the need that is in the community and try to offer programs and services that meet needs that are not being met.
Nice.
as far as obstacles, I think it's really trying to define how you're different, and that's why I said, trying to identify what is that unique need that you're addressing.
Right.
So trying to create your brand, establish who you are in the community, and to articulate why you are the organization to work with.
Right.
So those things, but I say also we are 100% volunteer based. So the other challenge is getting the support, getting volunteers that can stay for a certain amount of time so that the programming has continuity. And then currently right now where we are is transitioning. So as wonderful as it is to be 100% volunteer based for what we're looking to accomplish, which is to expand nationally ideally and even internationally, we need help. And so to transition the organization from, my baby to an organization that is a business.
Yes.
And having paid staff and staff that can be there for years and to see the program grow and not have turnover that may come from the volunteer world.
Nice. So it sounds like, which I like hearing, is that you've gone through a lot of success, failure, success, failure, but you've taken those tidbits from those failures, and now you're implementing what you've learned from that. Right. And that's such an important lesson.
And also being flexible. Our core programming is that mentoring program, is that career focused. The professional works with the student on a goal for 6 months. But the day and age that we're in of technology, of little time, our program has had to be flexible. And those activities that I mentioned, which is just meeting them for coffee or offering a half a day, doesn't require a professional to commit to 6 months, which can sometimes, as much as people have it in their heart to do it, can be a really big commitment.
Yeah, definitely. I like the fact that you're still being that one-on-one personal human touch. You're not going into the digital where they're meeting on Skype or anything like that. They're actually able to see, feel, and touch that person and be a part of their environment and their world. And so they're not, doing a virtual tour or anything like that. They're actually in the mix of it, and that's so important.
Right, and there's a time and place for that virtual, where you can offer access and flexibility to people who may not otherwise have the ability to come out and see it. But it's so important to touch and feel and to understand, because you could see a doctor on television, but unless you talk to one or are able to go into the hospital and see what that emergency room or that doctor's office is like, it doesn't resonate, and you don't really truly understand how real that is for you.
And they have that whole concept of the vision board too, where they can now start to visualize themselves or not visualize themselves in that position. They're not fantasizing about what it could be. They can actually get to see and feel, okay, can I do this or can I not do this? And ask those tough questions too. Right.
Well, with our My Retreat program, we do vision boards during the weekend.
Oh, nice.
And we also follow that up with an action plan.
Nice.
Right? So it's nice to have the pictures and the nice cars and a big house but there are steps that need to be taken. And so also with our mentoring program and connecting students with professionals, it's understanding that there's no one path.
Right.
It's not, school is a big part of it, but there's not, stay in this career the entire way, or, not be open to opportunities. And so talking to more professionals and understanding that, yes, they're all, these 5 people may be doctors, but they all went about it very differently. Lets the student know that there's no one path that they need to follow.
And they can take little pieces of each one of them too.
Right, exactly.
I like the idea that you give them the vision, but then you set the goals, but then you come up with action plans. I was big on setting the goal, I want $1 million, and then sitting here going, okay, where is it? No, you got to have an action plan. I like that. I like that a lot. Tell me what the long-term vision and goals are for Xcel. It sounds like you kind of touched upon that a little bit, kind of changing it more to like a business format, bringing on staff. Anything else that you're trying to accomplish as well?
Ultimately, it's getting more women into leadership positions, leadership roles. There are so many industries out there that women are limited or not present at the table, and I definitely want to work with our board and our volunteers and all the individuals and businesses that support us to change that, because women are consumers. We buy products.
A lot of them.
A lot. right? And more women are becoming breadwinners within their family, and so we should be at the table.
Yes.
And should be giving input and assisting or making those decisions. So getting young women to have more exposure to the careers, one, opens up their horizons and allows them to better use their skills and what they have a knack for to their advantage, really. So ultimately, that's what I like to do. I like to be a part of that change with the organization.
Nice.
So expanding our network, getting more professionals, male and female, to want to give back and to give time to students to share what the career or the industry is about.
Nice.
Open up their minds a bit there. But I think one of the other things that I like to do is for professionals to understand that they have something to give back. I talked to, even the other day, I was at an event and I was talking to a young woman and young professional, and she said, you know, I don't really have anything that I could share. And I almost just fell. I was like, don't say that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if those words ever come out your mouth again, call me.
Yeah,
Please call
exactly.
me. Is to let professionals know they can give back, and a coffee can change someone's life.
Amazingly.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's getting professionals to understand that, but then also expanding our program.
Yeah, I think people don't understand it's the little moments. It's the
Right.
it's the saying hello to the person you're sitting next to
Right.
at, at work or at church or in the coffee shop or wherever you are. It's that little moment. You don't know how that can change someone's life.
And
so I
even-
can't imagine a coffee.
Right.
Yeah,
And even
that's
for me, it's if someone told me 10 years ago that, there's this concept of diminishing returns, right? And
Yeah.
perfection isn't
Yeah.
always
No.
necessary, but getting
Yep.
it to a certain point is sufficient.
Yep.
And understanding what your boss or, management wants, and providing that. There's nothing wrong with going above and beyond, but at some point the extra 5-10 hours is not
Right.
worth it.
Right.
And so little things like that,
Yep.
and sharing things like that, you could just change the way you approach your career, change the way you approach your family,
Yep.
balance and all, in school,
Yep.
going back to school, or whether you should or shouldn't.
Yep.
Those conversations can be life-changing.
Yep, I agree. How can we get involved? Speaking of getting involved, how can we get involved? What can we do for you in terms of Xcel? How can we give back?
Yeah, well, we're looking to expand our linker program. We're looking for professionals to sign up as links. And links, as I mentioned, they're male or female professionals, and they can meet with the student for coffee or lunch, offer a job shadow session, host a company tour, work with them on their service learning project, or become a mentor.
Nice.
So we're offering different levels
levels.
there. For our My Retreat program, looking to do it again next year. Would love for facilitators and chaperones to come in and work with the students over the course of the weekend, and then also to support them as they work on their action plans.
Nice.
Because we say, okay, what are the big things? What do you want to do? And to be a part of that My Retreat program and have them share their goals, it's you just want to help.
Yeah.
Right? So those are opportunities there. And then just on a longer term, volunteers to help with our program administration and program management. Always looking for help there.
Okay.
We're also starting committees
Nice.
focusing on women's issues. Of course, marketing, branding,
Yep.
the usual stuff.
The usuals, yep.
And also looking for students, because those young women are who we're serving.
Yep.
So we're actually in the process of putting together a student advisory board
Wow.
where students can come in and share what they're looking for. Do they want that, like you said, one-on-one?
Yep.
Would they like more virtual interactions with
Yeah.
professionals?
Yeah.
So
If I wanted to apply for a job, because it looks like you're going to be looking for people to work for the company now,
Yes.
or for the nonprofit, how do I do that?
we don't have paid positions right now.
Okay.
But we do have an internship program
Okay.
that offers a $500 stipend every 6 months.
Nice.
So if students are interested in our internship program, they can apply on our website.
Okay.
And also open to volunteers as well. That's also on our website
Is it a college, high school, in order to be?
College
Okay.
college age for the internship internships. We are open to some high school students, but really based on recommendation.
Yeah, there's always a diamond, a
Yes.
few diamonds out
Yeah.
there. Yep. So we're going to switch gears.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
I know. We're going to talk about you, because that's
Sure.
important to learn. Tell me about your family, kids, work, other things you do, because you just told us a lot.
Yeah.
And so you do all that, but we want to know what else is peppered in there so we can
A
learn.
lot is peppered in there. Well, I live in Hartford County with my son Jeff. He's 11 and about my height. So we're constantly measuring each other right now. I am the Director of Accounting at Health New England, which is based in Springfield. And I'm also on the board for the Women Advancement Initiative, which is based out of the University of Hartford.
Very nice.
So just high level, those are the main things in my life right now, in addition to family, my boyfriend and his family, which is my family,
Nice.
my parents, and trying to find that balance with everything. I think that word balance is something that I personally, not necessarily, I would say, struggle with, but I'm constantly moving around.
Yeah.
It constantly changes. And so when you're younger, certain things are much more important. And then you get older and you get tired.
I was just going to say, I'm tired listening to you. Like, how does she do all this?
Yeah, and then you get tired and your priorities change and you try to find that balance that works for you.
Who are your mentors? Like, who supports you? Mentors, and then second question, who supports you the most?
Mentors, I'd say my very first mentor was a woman named Gwendolyn Alexander. When I was in Trinidad, I lived at a halfway house for 2 years, so from about 12 to 14. And she showed me how to give of yourself selflessly. She was the house mom, if you will.
Nice.
And took care of us. I came from an environment where I really took care of myself. And so coming into her home with about 12 kids, it was, how do I relinquish my, independence?
Yeah.
But she showed me that it was okay to have independence, but also to know when you need help and to be okay with allowing her to care for me as a child, really.
Yeah.
So from her, one, teaching me in that capacity, looking at her and seeing how she devoted her life to helping battered women and children. And I just felt, growing up, I knew what it was to want help and not get it. But then through her, I knew what it was to want help and get it.
Wow.
And so coming out of that experience, it was, if I can help, I'm going to help.
Wow.
There's no way I'm not going to do that.
Nice.
But, and then also just finding ways to get other people engaged.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for her and all of the community, the Goshen community that built that house and allowed us to have somewhere to be, I don't know what would have happened.
Wow.
Right? So she was one of my first mentors, but since then I've had tons of mentors, male and female, in different capacities. So personally, professionally, people that I can just call and talk things through with. Does this make sense? Am I going about this the right way? And you want people who are going to be honest with you.
Nice.
And give you really good feedback. You don't always want to have people around you who
The
tell
yes
you what
people.
you want to hear, right?
Well, you do.
I mean, sometimes
but
you do. My boyfriend
you
would say
shouldn't.
I definitely do, but but yeah, you those people are they open up your mind and they are advocates for you. I can't tell you how many opportunities I've had where I was not in the room, but someone who knew me, thought of me,
Nice.
and represented me when I wasn't there.
Okay.
And through that has created opportunities for me, even the position that I'm in right now.
Wow.
At Health New England, thinking of me for an opportunity, even though I wasn't, present at the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've had a lot of mentors, and I'm very grateful that they continue to support me to this day.
I like the way you separated them. I'm in the process of learning that one person can't be everything to you.
No.
As a kid, even longer, you think, oh, I'm going to have that best friend, and they're going to
Right.
be the person I can talk to. They're going to give me the advice. They're
Right.
going to be, care for me. They're going to be everything. But really, in life, you learn that you need to, different people for different things.
Right.
Give you different things, and therefore you can have a variety of people in your life. You don't
Right.
have to kind of say, oh, oh, I can't really be friends with you because you're not A, B, C, D.
Everything.
No,
right.
you do this for me. You do this for me.
Right.
And, and vice versa. We kind of give it back. I like that. I like the way you do that. What are your keys to success?
I was thinking about that this morning. I would say independence. I think independence is very important. I think having the ability to decide what you want to do without having to depend on someone else is extremely important. With that, it is also understanding that you're not, you don't have to do everything by yourself. So it's something that I learned much younger, but even still today, it's a challenge for me. I would say resilience. I can't tell you how much disappointment I've had in my life and how many doors have been shut. But and you have to take the time to grieve and, kind of get yourself together, but don't let it shut you down. Don't let it stop you from what you want to accomplish and achieve going forward. So I'd say independence, resilience, and giving back, really. It all comes back to you.
Nice.
So if you support others and you are genuine, it'll come back.
Very nice, very nice. What keeps you when that door gets closed and then you do the grieving? What gets you up? What gets you away from the Ben and Jerry's, out of the bed,
Oh, Ben and Jerry's.
and back up on the road?
I'd say my son. My son. He definitely changed my life, I would say. Had me thinking about things very, very differently. But not everyone has children, so for me, it was him. I was always ambitious and all of that, but for him, it was, there's no excuse. There's I'm going to succeed.
Nice.
And so when things are rough and hard, he's there.
He's
and
your why.
He is my, yes,
Nice.
exactly.
Yeah.
He's my why,
Yeah.
my how, and all of that.
All of them.
Yeah. So he is it for me.
Nice.
And then previously you asked about my support system. My boyfriend's a huge support system.
Oh, that's great.
My mom and my dad and all the mentors that I mentioned, people in my life from a personal and professional perspective, they helped me.
Nice.
And it took me some time to depend on them.
Yeah.
As I said, independence was one thing, and then you learn, I can't do all of this.
Well, it's a trust thing too.
Right, exactly.
It sounds like we come from similar backgrounds, so the trust is very challenging to say, especially with this woman. That's great that you were able to open up and allow her in.
Right.
But it's few people. Yeah, it takes time to let them in.
Yeah.
It's definitely with trust. It has to be a give and take, and it also has to be the experience, and over time, really, them almost, I don't want to say proving themselves, but you proving yourself. And kind of that everybody's kind of, doing what they're supposed to be doing, not perfect, but then definitely with that integrity. So if they make a mistake, they're able to say, hey, I did.
And that accountability part is huge.
The accountability is very huge.
It's extremely huge. And that's also one other thing I'd say is be accountable. And it's okay. People are human. We make mistakes.
But
be accountable and own it and learn from it. And do better next time. And I think that at the end of the day, what more can you ask for?
Right, exactly. Exactly, instead of the whole perfection thing. Anything else you want to say to the?
I would say definitely focus on how, pass it forward.
Yep.
For people to focus in on how, there's ways that they were impacted in their lives. There's people that supported them and gave them something. So I always encourage folks to give back. Think about, what your community needs. Think about what skills you can offer and give back. Of course, I'd love for them to come this way and support Xcel. But, there's tons of organizations here in the area that need support, that need help. So think about how you can help.
Yeah.
Think about how you can make an impact in the community, at work, and where you work, and do it. Donate, volunteer an hour of your time. Definitely.
It's definitely that balance between taking care of yourself and serving, but you definitely have to have. You definitely have to have. It's almost taking care of yourself is serving, in some ways. And so you have to really take the time to sit and figure out how can I do that on a daily basis. I think it's important for us to give back.
I do too.
Well, thank you. We did it.
Yay!
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So
again.
Trisha Brunton,
Yes.
from Xcel, thank you so much. So we're delighted that you were here today. Thank you for joining us. Please join us again. We're going to be doing this show once a month, Women with Purpose. I'm hoping that you are motivated and empowered. This is going to be on West Hartford TV, but also on all sorts of social media. So please post your questions, reach out to Trisha, absolutely volunteer. Check out Xcel. If you have young women in your life, if you're a professional and you feel you want to give back and you want to be able to give to the children that are out there, it's so important. We always have something to offer. If we're sitting here and they're there, we have something to offer. If we're 5 steps ahead, we can teach them how to get here. So thank you so much, and looking forward to seeing you all again. Go and live with purpose. Thank you.